In the beginning, before the dawn of time, the world was completely silent. Although if you listened really carefully, you could still make out the faint sound of a Norah Jones CD. But with the Big Bang came not just the world's best light show, but also the world's first ever sound. Like the Seattle sound that came along much later, the Big Bang paved the way for a whole new scene. It struck a chord with angst-ridden teenagers who'd become disenchanted with life, even though life had only just been created. But sadly, the Big Bang found it hard to sustain its early success. Its follow-up bangs were less catchy and, it has to be said, less big. Every era moves to the beat of a different drum, and every week we turn to one man to tell us what those beats mean, and how many of those beats are frequented by George Michael on a regular basis. Ladies and gentlemen of the world, that man is Captain Blow, and this is the Blow Parade.
Blow Parade! Blow Parade! The good captain here with you for the next half hour, navigating the great big ocean I like to call pop. But hey, that's not to say we won't be dropping anchor somewhere along the way in the bay called Rhythm or the cove called Blues. And it's all thanks to our very good friends at Putney Curry.
Your shirt and tie and best wool knit, we'll pour curry all over it.
1-900-BLOWER is the number to call if you want to be part of the Captain's Wheel this week. Your chance to help select which year from the classic age of pop we'll be delving into today. Whichever year the wheel lands on is the year we'll drop our anchor. So give us a call. 1-900-BLOWER is the number to ring. Who's on the Captain's Blower today? Hello.
Yeah, is that me?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name?
Wicked. I'm a big fan. Really love the show. Never miss it.
And your name?
Actually, I'll tell a lie. I did miss it once. I was in quite a bad car accident, driving quite fast, racing home to catch the show, actually, and I flipped the car and fell unconscious. Was in hospital for about a week with broken ribs and a ruptured spleen. So I missed the show that week.
Sorry, didn't quite catch your name.
Hey, Susan, I'm on. I'm talking to the captain. Yeah, no, I'm on live.
All right, well, you know how it works. Whoever you are, every spoke on the Captain's Wheel contains a different year from the classic age of pop, and I'll give the wheel a spin, and you have to yell out, "Don't stop till you get enough." That's this week's all-important stop song. Whichever year we land on is the year we'll take a look at. Are you ready to give it a go?
Hello?
Who's this?
Hello, it's Susan. Is this really Captain Blow? My husband loves your show.
Yes, I can appreciate that. Can you put him back on? We're just running a little tight for...
Sorry, I'm back. That was just the wife.
And a very lovely wife she sounds too. I bet you're very fond of her, aren't you? Sorry, what was the name again?
Susan, she's called. Yeah, she's great.
All right, let's not muck about any longer. Let's spin that Captain's Wheel.
Don't stop till you get enough.
Well, what have we here? Isn't that interesting? I'm pleased to announce to all me hearties aboard the good ship Blow that this week's year is 1975!
1975, perhaps more than any other year in history, was the 75th year of the 20th century. It was also the year that America lost its innocence, although it later turned up again after a kind stranger handed it in. It was the year of the Watergate scandal, which was famously dubbed by the media Watergate Gate. Musically, the world was going through similar upheaval. Tensions in the R&B funk group Earth, Wind and Fire saw Wind quit the band, leaving Earth and Fire to forge ahead alone. A few months later, Earth walked out, reducing the band's name to just And Fire. Although a week later, Fire and had creative differences of their own, and the group disbanded for good. Such were the crazy times of 1975.
It was a big year for country music too, with John Denver setting the charts ablaze with his massive hit Thank God I'm a Country Boy, a song which incidentally had to be quite heavily reworked after the original met with a hostile response at a Memphis concert.
Well, I don't like chinks and I don't like blacks, but I love my Johnny in a young sheep's crack. I sleep with my sis on a love haystack. Thank God I'm a country boy. I have sex with my mom and my grandpa too. I would with my aunt, but she looks like a Jew. When the lynching's done, I'll eat grandma's shoe. Thank God I'm a country boy.
That's an unfair stereotype, Denver. And you best believe I'll be taking this up with my fellow Klansmen at the next meeting.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the Atlantic, it was comedy songs a go-go, with comedy stars like the Goodies and Billy Connolly spending just as much time in the charts as pop stars. And suddenly it seemed everyone was releasing comedy singles, even the cast of George and Mildred.
25 years I've been married to that girl. A whirlwind affair that was all wind and whirl. But when I'm dozy of an evening after 8, Mildred's got an appetite I can't appear to sate.
Classic stuff. But it wasn't just George tearing up the charts. British rocker Rod Stewart could also do no wrong in 1975. Having scored a #1 with the song Sailing, he tried to repeat that success with yet another song about a shit-boring sport.
I am curling, I am curling in the winter on the ice. Now I'm sweeping with those broom things. I love a sport that involves a broom.
But not even Rod Stewart and his curling broom could sweep away the massive onslaught of punk. And in my view, no one defined the spirit of punk better than our 1975 feature artist, the Fatcocks. In today's Blow Parade feature, we'll go behind the scenes of the Fatcocks' explosive punk masterpiece, Corgi Scum.
Corgi scum, four-legged bludgers, corgi scum, backgammon sponge.
Yeah, I think punk was a reaction against everything in society that we didn't like.
And it's all thanks to Putney Curries.
If it's past its sell-by date digit, we'll pour curry all over it.
Looking for something different these school holidays? Bournemouth Aquarium has just acquired its second fish. Be one of the first to visit this magisterial flounder. A 3-day family pass entitles you and the kids to enjoy the complete flounder experience, including unlimited viewings, twice daily feedings, and access to the aquarium's other fish and Atlantic mackerel. Bournemouth Aquarium, open 7 days. Oh, there she blows! It's time to open up our 1975 feature record. The band was the Fatcocks, and the album was Corgi Scum. Punk for us wasn't just a style of music, it was a way of life. If I went down to the post office to collect a parcel, I'd say thanks very much and give the postmaster a headbutt. And the same applied if I was at the florist. Or at the place that got me pedicure.
By the early 1970s, England had become a country that was losing its way. The swinging 60s were over, the Beatles had broken up, and Andrew Lloyd Webber was threatening to write his very first musical. But amid the grey uncertainty emerged 3 young men with something new to say, and they weren't afraid to say it.
Hey ho, hee hoo, hey hi, let's get mashed up tonight. Hey ho, hey ho, hey ho, hee hoo, hee hoo, let's go.
When I first heard hey ho, hee hoo, I was completely blown away. I mean, it was political, it was lyrical. It was like the Russian Revolution or like Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon, and I knew from that point on that music would never be quite the same again.
But it would take several years for the Fatcocks to be taken seriously by the musical mainstream. Hailing from Sheffield, Archie Cock, Filthy Cock and Cecil Cock first met each other at Brinsworth Comprehensive School, although it's possible that they'd previously met at home, given that they were brothers. Former Brinsworth headmaster Harold Daly.
I don't recall them showing any particular musical ability back then. On the contrary, they showed very little enthusiasm for playing the recorder. In fact, the only contribution I recall Archie ever making to the music class was when he fashioned his recorder into a bong.
Kicked out of school after year 12, because that's as far as school went, the brothers decided to form a band, but came up against some early obstacles, as guitarist and vocalist Archie Cock explains.
I think it was harder at first than we thought it was gonna be. I mean, for a start back then, we could only play one note, and that meant a lot of our early songs sounded a bit samey.
Veteran sound engineer Pitts Parsons.
You go from something like the car song here
Hey, mister in your fancy car, tell me who you think you are.
to a track like the vegetable song,
I don't like no peas, no sprouts, no beans. Why should I show respect to greens?
all the way through to the album closer, Wasted Wilma, which personally I think is the best melody on the record.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I watch her swill her Beaujolais. Does her daddy know and all the wasted Wilmas on the floor?
In the winter of 1973, the band worked hard to develop their sound, rehearsing sometimes as often as 5 minutes a day. According to drummer Cecil Cock, it was a formative period for the band.
Well, we were just like any other garage band starting out, except we didn't actually have a garage. Our father always parked his car out on the street, so obviously we had to follow suit and have all our rehearsals out on the street. Not always easy, given it was quite a busy road.
But one passing motorist who liked what he heard was none other than record company mogul Otto Gannon.
Sheffield's not the kind of area I would normally spit on. In fact, it's a fucking insult to my Bentley to even drive it near that stinking piss hole. But I was in the area, and I drove past these three boys in the street, and they sounded as shite as a baby's nappy. Absolutely excruciating, and I said to myself one word, as a fucking moolah.
We were quite intimidated by Otto at first. He was wearing what was a very obvious toupee, but not on his head. He was wearing it round his neck like a scarf. And he had another two of them, one on each elbow, because he thought it made him look virile.
Otto Gannon offered the three brothers £10,000 to make a record, on the condition that they didn't write or sing a single note of it.
I mean, people sometimes say, oh, the Fatcocks were just a manufactured band, you know, invented by Otto Gannon. But that's complete bollocks. We were not Otto's puppets. The only real stipulations for that first record were that we weren't allowed near the studio, we all had to change our name to Cock, and we all had to get a safety pin through our scrotum. So we said, fine, where do we sign?
The Fatcocks' first album, Bastard, 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 Bastard Balls, attracted only limited airplay. But the group's antics off the stage were making a much bigger impact.
Good evening, and heading this bulletin, 4 hippopotamuses are still on the loose tonight inside Westminster Abbey. The 4 large mammals traditionally found in the wetlands of Africa are believed to have been smuggled into the church by members of the musical punk group, the Fatcocks.
As you can probably hear behind me, one of the hippos is understood to have made its way up the bell tower and is banging its head quite vigorously against the church bells. But whether this is a proclamation of victory or just musical curiosity is far too early to tell.
The band's next record, Pardon My Phlegm, was a major step forward. Archie Cock's newfound interest in systems of government not only gave rise to the record's first single, but also gave consociationalists the anthem they'd been waiting for.
Consociationalist. I want consociationalism. Consensus by segmental autonomy with asymmetric bicameralism and representative proportionality with the mutual veto. So me and you, yes we are consociational.
That entire second record, which not coincidentally was written during the rise of Margaret Thatcher, that was the record which saw the Fatcocks evolve into the outspoken agitators we now know them as today.
We were writing songs about Thatcher before any other band in Britain. We were writing songs about Thatcher when she was still in opposition as a junior shadow secretary.
Hey, Miss Maggie, how do you do? the Shadow Fuel spokesman, you've some explaining to do. Hey, Miss Maggie, who do you think you are? What's your opposition strategy on filling up the car? Hey, Miss Maggie.
They blamed Thatcher for fucking everything, and, excuse my French, but they were right to fucking do so, even when they blamed her for the death of Anne Frank.
Poor little Anne alone in her attic, while Thatcher does nothing, passive and static. I bet when the Nazis blew Anne to bits, Maggie just laughed and sent flowers to Prince. Poor people of Pompeii under the volcano, while Thatcher does nothing, she doesn't want to know. I bet when the lava buried the town, Maggie just laughed and pulled her bloomers down.
By the time the Fatcocks were ready to record their third album, they'd become a media sensation, spearheading the punk revolution in England and determined to take on the world.
Well, we don't know much about them, but the one thing we do know is that you can't say fat on radio without getting bleeped. But
Excuse me, sir, what do you think of the Fatcocks?
I like them. I think they're really groovy.
But what about these reports that they stick safety pins in their scrotums and vomit on small children?
I think that's groovy.
Do you hear our message? Sing it and be proud. Let's bring down society by singing nice and loud.
It's 8 o'clock. Good morning. This is ABC News. Popular television weatherman Alan Wilkie has been kidnapped and held at gunpoint by members of a British musical punk group. The musicians are holding Mr. Wilkie in an undisclosed location and are refusing to release him unless he offers an improved forecast for the forthcoming weekend.
We believe the musicians are in possession of a gun or guns, but at this stage we don't think they pose a serious threat or threats to this particular weatherman or weathermans.
The band returned from Australia with a hardened distaste for Britain's colonialism, and everything they now hated about the British Empire, especially the monarchy, was writ large on their next album, Corgi Scum.
God save the Earl of Harrowby! He's fascist and he's Ponzi! He's got too many bedrooms! Or so I've heard!
Fatcocks bass player, Filthy Cock.
Archie wrote something like 400 songs rallying against quite minor members of the aristocracy. The more minor they were, the angrier he seemed to get.
God save the Duke of Connaught and Strathern. That bloke really pisses me off. Even though the title was abolished in 1943.
Pitchfork music writer Armando Hirsch.
Well, the Fatcocks by this time evidently had become a very political and visceral band, and Corgi Scum is probably the defining anti-establishment record of the age. I mean, if we compare the Fatcocks to a band today like Animal Collective, then I think we can start to see that, come on, man, not again. I saw you disconnect the mic there. I just have a couple of points to make about Animal Collective, and then I want to talk about
Fatcocks singer Archie Cock.
People always call the record anti-monarchy, which I don't think is right. I mean, if you listen to the lyrics closely, it's actually not anti-royals, it's just anti-certain aspects of the royal.
I quite like Prince Philip, he's a harmless old kid. And I don't mind his missus, she's got nice tits. But if there's one royal thing I'd like to smash to bits, it's Her Majesty's dogs, those corgi shits. Corgi scum, four-legged bludgers, corgi scum, backgammon sponges, waddle around a palace, you freeloading slobs. Do us a favour, get yourselves angel.
That song was bigger than Tom Jones's testicles, and I would know, because I actually bought one of Tom Jones's testicles at auction from Sotheby's. I use it as my Pilates ball.
Riding high on the success of the album, Otto Gannon flew the band back over to America, where he arranged for them to play a spontaneous gig on a rooftop in Manhattan.
What he didn't tell us, though, was that the building whose roof he wanted us to play on was the Chrysler building, which, actually, you remember that, not the easiest roof to play a gig on.
No,
it's pretty much just vertical.
Yeah, it's sloping at like 80 degrees.
The guitarist desperately trying to hold on to the spire for dear life, and, oh my, Yes, it looks like they've just lost what appears to be the drum kit over the edge. You can see it plummeting 77 stories there toward 42nd Street, and there it goes. Yeah, they've lost it. So we'd have to assume from that the band is now more or less percussionless.
It wasn't our finest hour, there's no question about that. I mean, it might have been good publicity, but that's never been what the Fatcocks were about. And I think we were all actually pretty exhausted by that point, and this was about the same time that Filthy started fridging.
I think we all knew he was into fridging, but it's not something we ever discussed with him. I mean, it was not our place to raise it. You know, what Filthy chose to do with a fridge in the privacy of his own home was entirely a matter for him.
It started to become a problem on that second tour of America when he was fridging like 4 or 5 times a day. I mean, it was insane. For his backstage rider, he always just asked for 3 fridges, preferably large ones. It was just sad.
I mean, you've got to remember, this was a generation bent on breaking the rules and giving society the finger, and I think for Filthy, fridging was certainly a big part of that.
Personally, I never saw the appeal of it. If I wanted my arse ripped apart by a cold white box, I'd just have sex with Alison Moyet. But I will admit, I did actually try it. Just the once, after drinking 2 straight bottles of scotch, and I spent the next fortnight shitting out fridge magnets.
On November 27th, 1975, at the very height of the band's success, Filthy Cock was found dead in a home appliance store, with the new model Fisher & Paykel refrigerator inserted in his anus.
The punk rocker's death has shocked both the music world and the white goods world alike, with the fridge's manufacturers being forced to recall all new model fridges pending an inquiry into the safety of their design.
Filthy's death had a devastating effect on the rest of the band, but to keep Filthy's legacy alive, the group was determined to keep touring and recording, as bass player Filthy Cock explains.
Otto brought me in to be the new Filthy, which was obviously a huge honour and something of a surprise, to be honest. I mean, I looked nothing like him, and I was really not in the punk scene. I'd previously been in a kids' band called the Pedals.
The Fatcocks continued to tour for another 3 years, but never quite reached the same dizzying heights that they achieved with Corgi Scum. In 1995, the band was presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Grammys and were joined on stage by Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey for a live performance of Wasted Wilma.
Some people accused us of selling out as if we'd somehow, I don't know, turned our back on the ideals we'd always sang about. But, I mean, you know, in the band, we just think that's ridiculous. You know, they said the same thing when we accepted our knighthoods or when we let consociatialism be used for a car advert.
It's economical, supremely comfortable, it handles off-road well. Toyota Ariel.
When my eldest son turned 15, I gave him a copy of Corgi Scum for his birthday, and he went away into his room and listened to it on the headphones, and 40 minutes later he came back out, and do you know what he said to me? He said, "Who's Margaret Thatcher?" And in my book, that is the hallmark of a fucking classic album.
This is our philosophy. Wise words for the season. Fascists understand us because we speak with reason. Spoing, spoing, boing, boing, plump, plump, flump, scrub. Let's get scrubbed up tonight.
The Blow Parade with Captain Blow.
What an amazing band they were, and for this week's final blow, a final little memo from yours truly, there's quite an interesting postscript about what became of the Fatcocks members. Sir Archie Cock is currently the chairman of a Tory party fundraising committee, and Sir Filthy Cock ended up going back to his previous outfit, the popular children's group The Pedals. And I thought as a special treat to go out with this week, I thought I'd play you one of the Pedals' hit songs. So until we next sail the high seas of pop, I'm Captain Blow, leaving you with this delightful children's tune taken from their album, Mr. Dopeyhead Sings Again. This is The Pedals. I'll catch you next week.
Mr. Dopeyhead, where are you? We can't seem to find you anywhere. Are you in the bed?
No.
Are you on the sofa?
No.
Are you in the corner?
No.
Are you on the chair?
No.
Are you on the grass?
No.
Are you in the tree?
No.
Are you down the street?
No.
Are you in the shop?
No.
Are you on the bus?
No.
Are you on the train?
No.
Are you in the car?
No.
Are you on a plane?
No.
Are you in the fridge?
No.
Are you on the roof?
No.
Are you on the stairs?
No.
Are you on the moon?
No.
Mr. Dopeyhead, where are you? We can't find you any bloody where. I mean, are you in the sea?
No.
Are you on an iceberg?
No.
Are you in outer space?
No.
Are you in the grave?
No.
Are you in my wife's underpants?
No.
Are you in a parallel dimension?
No.
I mean, why don't you just tell us where you are?
I'm here, in the cupboard.
Captain Blow would like to thank Chris Taylor, Andrew Hansen, and Craig Shufton for making the Blow Parade possible. Podcasts are available at triplej.net.au.